What's up, y'all? What's up? This is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. Before we start, if you could, please hit the like button, subscribe button, stay up to date with all my future Teachable Tuesday videos. Unfortunately, we are going to have to take a little bit of a break with the musical series. There were some people that I had in line, and I'm not going to be able to get to them for a couple of weeks. But of course, as always, we want to keep the Teachable Tuesday videos going. And today we're going to talk about a topic that I wanted to talk about a few weeks ago, but I never really got around to it. It comes from the Shade Room. And the title of the video is going to be called Being Single Makes You Strict. And I have some thoughts on that. And the guy, he goes by the name of Legal Shooter, the real Dre Poppy. Shout out to him. He basically said, being single makes you strict as HE double hockey stick. First time a woman catch an attitude, I'd be like, yeah, I ain't got to deal with this. And I will say that I think when you're single for a certain period of time, it does make you kind of, have a certain lifestyle, if you will, certain things that you'll accept, certain things that you won't accept. I think there's also things that you'll have to learn once you actually get into a relationship or you start dating, getting to know somebody. And adjustments have to be made because you've been single for so long. So I don't think there's anything wrong with, not putting up with bad attitudes. I definitely don't think anybody, man or woman, should put up with a bad attitude from somebody. However, I do also believe that before we are quick to cut somebody off, we need to figure out what's the deal. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, if it's a consistent issue, you've checked it once. As Stefan Speaks says, you check it once. And then if it's still not resolved, you go ahead and move on about your life. But let's go ahead and see what some of these individuals have to say. And I'll add my commentary and I'll add a little bit more. So first person comes from a woman. And she said, yep, they be throwing in the towel before they can look at the towel good. They throwing fish back in the sea and haven't seen the whole fish. Fish be having good meat too. Everybody has flaws. I understand that there are some things that you won't tolerate, but you'll be single forever, giving up so fast. It's a thin line between setting your ways and settling. I'm just saying. I actually have to agree with this. For the most part, I do agree with this. I do feel like that, unfortunately, we live in a saturated society where we just get what we want when we want, however we want to get it. There's many contributions to that. And because of that, the first sign that somebody sees something is not to their liking, they're quick to give up and leave. Let me tell you something. I recently just started a new relationship with a young lady. And we've had some pretty hard conversations. And I'm learning a lot about her. She's learning a lot about me. I'm learning a lot about myself and some things that I have to change in order to maintain a healthy relationship. With that being said, we both had some challenges already, not deep challenges that would put the relationship in danger, but things that we've had to talk about. But if we were so quick to be like, man, screw this, I'm done. I don't like the direction this is going in. We wouldn't be in a relationship right now because we had tough talks before the relationship began, which I'm glad because, I'd rather get the hard stuff out the way early than deal with it down the road. Now, I know everybody's relationship is different, but yeah, for the most part, I agree with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is definitely a difference between setting your ways and settling. I will say this, though. There are certain things that you see as red flags that if it's a red flag early on, then you need to run for the hills. So, but yeah, a lot of people do give up a bit too easily. A man, Mr. Cali, he says, a man with success and status don't have to settle for a smart mouth, non-cooperative woman. They simply just cancel everything and move on to the next in line. I do feel like people who have a lot of options or believe that they have a lot of options typically move forward in that motion. They're like, I ain't got to deal with this. I'm going to just move on to the next. And I don't think that's just a man with success and status. I think that's anybody who feels like they're not wanted, you know what I'm saying? And somebody who has bad traits early on and it's consistent will be quick to move on. I know I'm definitely like that. Like I said before, I'll give you a chance, to correct yourself. But after a while, I'm going to just go ahead and be like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Next comment says, Lewis Patterson says, he ain't lying. Once you get comfortable living on your own, that tolerance becomes non-existent. LOL. Yeah. like I stated before, when you're single for so long, you get set in your ways, and you're kind of just like, you know, I ain't got to deal with this. I'm better off being single. And to me, let me just address this real quick. That could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. The reason why I say it could be a good thing and a bad thing is because it's a good thing in the sense of knowing what you'll tolerate versus what you won't tolerate. And I think being single will teach you that, but also it can be a bad thing because it could be something that could, like I said before, simply be talked about. And then the situation can be fixed or the person can fix it. I mean, my girl, she's talked to me about certain things that wasn't favorable in her eyes. And I didn't realize anything was wrong until she brought it up. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me check it. And when I really, thought about it and sat down with myself, I was like, you know what, that is a problem. But when you're so quick to dismiss somebody without communicating, and that's the problem these days, we don't communicate properly. And when you don't communicate properly, you don't express what's going on and what's wrong. If you don't address it, how is it supposed to get fixed? Now, if the person chooses not to fix it or they don't make a big deal out of it, then that's a different story. Miss Williams says, it's a shame. Oh, this was cut off. It's a shame that social apps that were meant to bring people together are actually turning us all against each other. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that 100%. I definitely agree with that. Someone else said, this is so me. That's why I don't even bother dating. Nah, sis, that ain't the right attitude to have, sis. Still date. Just, I think sometimes we just got to choose better and be willing to have a conversation like I stated before. Somebody else said, I agree. Catching an attitude shows a level of immaturity. Talk about and through stuff instead of catching attitude, the type of stuff adults do. Yeah, I mean, granted, you can't. The fact is, people gonna catch attitudes. They're gonna catch attitudes because they're gonna catch attitudes. But I do agree. Talk it out. Somebody else said, as soon as I catch an attitude, matter of fact, don't let me catch an attitude. Nah, this ain't it, sis. This ain't it. You said, don't let me catch an attitude. It's like you're inviting him to have you catch an attitude. Like, nah, that ain't, sis. I don't know if I agree with that one. Somebody said, yep, your voice got loud. I'm out. LOL. Single is, trying to scroll down. What happened? I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. That's better. Somebody said, single is great after 16 years of marriage. Oof. I probably should have saw the reply to see what was going on with that one. Single is great after 16 years of marriage. I'm curious, why did the marriage end? Absolutely. How the heck you got an attitude about anything? Somebody said, oh, good, because I'm the same way. First disrespectful comment, action, or gesture, I'm out. Again, have a conversation with the person. Somebody said, it's not the being single, it's the been through a lot and enough that makes you feel that way. I agree with that. A terrible end of a marriage or relationship will have you with a zero tolerance out in these streets. And I'll say that to that part. What I will say is, if you have a zero tolerance because of what you've been through, I think you need to spend some time focusing on yourself for a little bit before you even attempt to, as a man, approach a woman, or as a woman, allow a man to approach you and reciprocate that effort, right? Because if you have a zero tolerance, then that means you got some work to do. That means there was obviously some issues that affected you, and it may have been your fault, may not have been your fault. But regardless, that's not a good look. You got some work to do. Somebody said, I've been single for 9 years and celibate. Awesome. I like it. No stress. I tried dating this year, and it's too much work. Again, I think that goes along with when you've been single for so long, it's just, when you have a certain lifestyle, you get adjusted to it, right? They say that there are certain people that, like, when they're constantly in relationships over and over and over again, they don't know how to be single. I used to be that guy. It's the same thing for single people. When single people have been single for so long, it's kind of like they're not going to just let any old body come into their space. And again, it's a great thing because that means you're being very careful who you choose, but it can also be a curse in disguise if you're not careful, because then you end up neglecting the person off of just one error that could have been fixed through a conversation. Same, these men so emotional. Somebody said, welcome to the new norm. That's why relationships don't last. Very true. I love it. Don't have to explain myself to nobody but God. I'd rather stay alone than waste somebody's daughter time. I mean, hey, at least Mr. Michael's honest. We too old to be handling a woman. Come correct or keep it moving. I think that goes for anybody. Being single is freedom. We all gonna be single and guarded, looking good. ASF, AO, awesome. Somebody else said same with us. Miss Singleton said, that's me when a man wants to come chill at my house. First time meeting, absolutely not. Yeah, fellas, you shouldn't be trying to go over a woman's house the first time meeting. I mean, like, at least go on a date first. Just saying, that's just my personal opinion. We're gonna read a couple more. I've been like this for years, LOL. Somebody said, so true. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Mr. Armstrong says, bro ain't lying. If she already catching an attitude in the getting to know each other stage, just imagine her as a girlfriend/wife, miserable AF. Again, conversation, guys. And we're going to read one more. I'm not even interested at this point. And I think that's all the comments that I had. I mean, there were more comments, but that was all the comments that I screenshotted. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, overall, I've been saying all video, yes, you don't want to deal with somebody that consistently has a bad attitude. It's not a good look. But I think that when it's something that's not desirable, you need to sit down and have a conversation. Don't just be so quick to be snip, snip, cut everything off without at least stating something first. Because when you put yourself in that position, you are liable to have a situation where if you say something, it could possibly be fixed. Again, I brought up the situation earlier with my girl where, there was something that wasn't favorable. And, I said, okay, let me fix it. And I brought things to her attention and she's fixed it. You know what I'm saying? But when you don't have conversations with people, even in the early dating stages, then guess what? It's all for naught. Now, again, if you have a conversation with this individual and they just so happen not to fix it, then, by all means, go and move on. All right, but I hope that helps somebody today. Again, this is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.